to
Mhm.
see when we do our marketing that some of these companies are replying with, like I said earlier, like we're fully switched over to AI. It's hard for us. It makes us even more scared to jump in, or we have to work harder to try and find creative ways to get around it.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today on the Real podcast, where we're talking about unfiltered conversations about what's going on right now, today, right now in our industry, our film industry, our video industry, our voice acting industry, and what is affecting all of us industry people. Today, we're talking about AI and voice acting, and nothing better than talking to Shaun Brackett, aka known as the voice of Shaun. So, welcome. Thank you so much, Shaun, for joining us today. And I'd love for you just to kick it off for us right now and get right into it. And I really would just like to know in one sentence, how does the rise of generative AI make you feel about your career?
Well, first off, thank you, RJ, for having me. I think this is a great opportunity to get some things out about our
Mhm.
industry. Um, how does the rise of AI make me feel? It makes me feel it's a little nerve-wracking because AI is
Mhm.
just consistently improving. And so
Mhm.
when it started out, it was less scary, and it's getting more and more scary, I guess, to say.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's something that's intense, and we're all affected by it in our industry. So.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. How do you think, like, have you seen that like affected you like in like more recently, or do you think that's like you saying it's getting worse and worse, right?
Right. Yeah, like a couple years ago, it was just like AI was so ridiculous sounding that no
Mhm.
one was really using it. It was extremely
Mhm.
rare. But
Mhm.
now it's gotten to the point where production companies, some of them are fully
Mhm.
switched over to AI. And when I do my marketing, they'll say, "Sorry, we're a fully AI company now. We're not hiring any human voice."
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
very challenging.
Yeah, for sure. What is the most aggressive or insulting encounter you've had recently where a client tried to replace you with an AI voice or severely undercut your value because of it? Like, how does that make you feel? What can you explain
It's,
about that?
it's pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, as creatives, we try and just stay on our course, but to
Mhm.
see when we do our marketing that some of these companies are replying with, like I said earlier, like we're fully switched over to AI. It's hard for us. It makes us even more scared to jump in, or we have to work harder to try and find creative ways to get around it. And yeah, it's pretty aggressive towards us.
Mhm. Do you have a specific example you can give us of that one, or something that you've encountered recently that you could speak into, possibly?
I mean, there's some different types of things. We work on what we call pay to play websites where we jump on and do auditions for companies that are in the list. And
Mhm.
a lot of what's listed in there asks for our voice to be in perpetuity given to them, and to have the right for them to use AI to utilize our voice for future projects. And some companies are
Mhm.
doing that without our permission. Um,
Mhm.
and it's really important that we are able to give our permission for that and to know how it's going to be used. But a lot
Mhm.
of times we don't know; they don't specify, and so end up having to avoid those jobs.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I've seen some of that. Or I know some softwares are now adding. I know like Resolve does that, adds an extra feature where you can like clone any voice that's in the software with in like basically and there's no real rules or really any sort of like protections against it for anyone that has been recorded video that maybe they don't do voice acting against it and records their voice and duplicates it and clones it. It's out of control.
It is.
So it's interesting to hear your side of it. But yeah, for sure, absolutely, it's out of control for sure. Okay, next question. Think of it like this. This is a deeper one. But if your voice is now a digital asset, what part of your humanity did you feel was stolen the moment a client asked to buy a perpetual license for a synthetic voice, for a synthetic of your voice? So instead of your voice, they're using synthetic voices.
Right. And they're basically using my voice as a synthetic voice, right? So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
the thing that really I immediately feel stolen is my heart, the heart that goes into it, like the
Mhm.
real human emotion that AI just
Mhm.
can't copy. I think no matter how good AI gets, they can't copy that. So that definitely is the top thing I feel is stolen immediately off the top of my head.
Mhm. Can you speak a little bit into like, because some of us, I know I don't. So some people may or may not know. We're not asking for a tutorial here, but like how, but far as like how, when it goes into it, can we kind of explain a little bit like when you get a human emotion, like when I talk in human emotion, I'm touch talking. How does that play into when you're doing a voice, when you're doing voice acting? Because that can't be duplicated with a AI. So I think it'd be helpful for us to hear a little bit because I always wondered that myself. Like how does that go into play when you're voice acting, when your actual person's doing it? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Uh, can you
Yeah, no worries.
explain a
So it's
little?
okay. So so are you just literally talking or are you like obviously there's some ability that goes into what you're doing. It's not just you just talking. So just
Right.
curious, can you speak into that a little bit?
Yeah. A lot of times we'll get a script and we have to like put ourselves into that role. We have to imagine we're that person. It can't just be me talking, just like you said. If the script says that I'm going to be the guy next door, I have to put myself into a character, even if it's just a commercial. It's like I'm not playing a goofy character. I'm still playing a character, and so I
Mhm.
have to become that character in my mind to be able to, emit those emotions that are
Mhm.
needed from a real person. Does that kind of answer the
Yeah, no,
question?
no, it does. Yes, it absolutely does. And I think that hits it. A voice actor or a voice actor is actually having test a lot of technique and years of skills and abilities to do something, whereas AI is just literally copying a carbon of
Yeah,
something literally that was already pre-recorded and even though like the longer you record or take something and record, the better the recording is for AI. So like literally all it's doing is copying something. It's
yeah.
copying something already made and not actually new original content. So yeah, yeah, no, very interesting. Can you put a number on the potential jobs lost that you think, or the percentage of your livelihood you believe already lost directly to the use of AI cloning, not just in the past year, but in the next 4, 5, 2, 3, whatever years?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I'd have like a really close exact number or anything, but
Mhm.
I think that um, maybe around 10% of my email marketings have already
Mhm.
just been getting responses of, yeah, we've switched over to AI, or we
Mhm.
use a pool of, I got one, I think just yesterday that was like, yeah, we have a
Mhm.
pool of a handful of voice actors and some software that we use. So we kind of
Mhm.
mix and match if we don't get what we're looking for. So I'd say like around
Mhm.
10% is already kind of there.
Mhm.
And as time goes by, AI is just getting better. So more and more companies
Mhm.
are switching to it. More and more companies
Mhm.
are under the pressure of, hey, we got to make money. And so AI might just be the
Mhm.
way to go.
Mhm. Yeah, think of this for a second. So how think back to when you got that email yesterday. How how does that go dig a little deeper? How does that feel? Does that feel like, oh, it's just you're expecting it by this point, people emailing you? Like if that's the response I'm just gonna get now? Like, or is it like feel a little hopeless because like you're not gonna get any more jobs? Like, or is it more like more natural now, feeling like, oh, this is just the day to day because everyone's using AI now? Like, is there another layer you can go with that?
Right. I mean, yeah, like I think it's actually a mix of both of those. Like
Uh-huh.
I do feel that more and more times I'm getting it. So I'm just kind of getting used to like, okay, let's move on to the next one. And sometimes we want to fight them and say, hey, like if you really want an actual human voice, call me up. Or sometimes I just go, okay, just move on to the next one. These people are going AI. And sometimes you want to fight it, and sometimes you just want to move on and expect that that's what that's what's coming.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, thank you. Uh, There you go. What is the dark conversation happening only among voice actors right now? The one that talks about anxiety, burnout, the real feelings that all of the people that do voice acting they're talking about, or even those that are deciding or have decided to leave the industry because of all this. Um, Have you heard anything about that? Anything in conversations online? Anything?
Yeah, I'm a part of a lot of different social media type of groups, like Discord groups and Facebook groups, and there's a lot of different conversations in there where people are experiencing too much of this and they just can't take it anymore, and they're like, this isn't viable anymore, and they
Hmm.
just jump out. Um, there's a lot of stress. A lot of people are like we've already been kind of talking about, like we're losing our jobs, we're losing our income, and people just can't handle it sometimes, and it gets rough, and I understand that. But
Hmm.
I'm here to fight for it, and
Hmm.
uh, I love voice acting, and I think that no matter what comes my way, I think there's still a way to continue to do voice acting, and so I try
Hmm.
to be a light in those groups myself and tell people like, hey, don't be scared of this, don't be intimidated, like, but sometimes it's just too much for people.
Hmm.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I know for sure. No, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like, you know, not to just give up on it, but I do see something there that there's got to be a creative solution because the reality is we're not getting around the fact that AI is going to get better and better.
Right.
I mean, if the amount of time it takes right now for it to get good for all tasks and all things that that it can do, now imagine like in 10 years from now. So it's
Right.
like or even like 10 months. It's just like it's rapidly growing. It's just a self-learning model, right? It's just like
Yeah.
it's going super rapid fast, faster than we can even keep up with half the time. So it's like,
Right.
yeah,
Exponential growth, all that.
it's something that we can't be. I think that we would be mistaken to just pretend it does. That's not a problem when it actually is. So yeah, here's another question. Do you think consumers can always tell the difference between a real human voice and AI clone? And is there a moment of deception that happens when a company chooses the synthetic voice over your voice as the voice actor, the true voice actor, true voice?
I wouldn't say they can always tell the difference, but I think there's still things about AI voices that are tells. And I really still think that the biggest thing that is the biggest tell is the lack of true emotion in things. Like the
Mhm.
heart's just not there. So consumers, some people don't pay attention too much, and they're kind of tuning things out. Maybe they don't even notice. But I think the people who
Mhm.
are really listening can most of the time still tell the difference between AI and human voices.
Yeah. How about this side? We haven't really talked about this a little bit yet, but what about the side of like the fact, let's say you can't tell the difference in some regards, like some people can't tell the difference. What about the reality that you're using a robot versus a person? Like someone's not supporting a small business or supporting someone that has spent their entire lives learning how to do something, another actual human being, versus someone that is not a someone. It's an it. Like how about let's speak to that. Why is someone choosing to use a robot when they could choose to support another human that's just like them, but just knows how to do something that they don't know how to do?
Right? Yeah, I think a lot of businesses are just looking at their bottom line and they're just like, hey, we need to make money. So
Mhm.
using an AI voice is cheaper. What they might not be thinking of is the future of like, if we just use AI voices now, we might not get as many sales because people might notice that
Mhm.
it's not real. And
Mhm.
like you really want to put that real person in there to get that response from your customers and your clientele.
Mhm.
So I think they're missing out on that. Uh, Hard to see up front, but I think down the road, it's hard to say though because AI just keeps improving. We don't know where it's going to go, but and that's the reality of where the fear comes from.
I think that says a lot about our society right now. They
Right?
rather use something because it saves money
Yeah.
versus use because, like, imagine 10 years ago when this didn't exist. What'd you use? A real voice actor. What do you know? So, like,
Every time.
yeah. So, like, why all of a sudden, if it's the choice that everyone else is doing, why do you have to be that same person or these companies that uses, you know, fake voices when you could use the real voice? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I kind of think of this thing too that I just thought of with
Yeah.
I've seen this meme online Sometimes it's used with like a drawing of a horse, and sometimes it's used with like the Mona Lisa.
Hmm.
And the drawing shows like the first half, like this really beautiful depiction of a drawing of a horse, and then there's
Hmm.
this line down the middle of it. And on the right side, there's some text of someone saying, "Hey, can you do it cheaper?" And then the other side is like it looks like a 3-year-old drew the rest of the horse. And
Hmm.
I feel like that's kind of how we can compare AI. Uh, People are just hiring some robot, and it's not going to be as good. Uh, You're not going to get the
Hmm.
real thing.
I like that depiction. That's very cool. Very cool. I like that. Thank you. Okay, so we're approaching our last section here. If you could look directly into the camera and speak right into the mic and give one warning to every young person trying to enter the voice acting industry today, what is the raw, unvarnished truth you would tell them right now?
Oh man, I would say like getting involved in your coaching and learning the craft properly is really going to help you to show the emotions that you need to be a real person in voice acting. And uh, you can't just be scared of AI taking over. You gotta do your training and do your stuff and perfect your craft the best you can. And that's gonna help you out.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so we talked. You did answer this here a little bit, but we talked about a lot about the problem. Let's talk about some creative solutions. There's got to be some solutions. I know you've got to have something that you've been thinking about in your head, as this is a huge problem. But with every huge problem, there's a huge solution, right?
Right.
So there's got to be something that you're cooking up here. What would you say is a good first step here or solution
Yeah. I mean,
to this
first of all, the
problem?
mindset of like we are creatives. So in our industry, we've got to learn how to come up with solutions because there's always going to be changes. There's always going to be problems coming at us.
Mhm.
And I actually wore this shirt today, the
Mhm.
National Association of Voice Actors. They're an organization that fights for us. They actually just passed a law through California that an
Mhm.
AI voice can't be used without permission. It's illegal now for it to be used
Mhm.
without permission from the voice actor. And so that needs to happen in more states. And I think more of these types of solutions are coming with organizations like this and with voice actors
Mhm.
that care, that want to jump into the conversation and help come
Mhm.
up with ideas.
Oh, I love that so much. That's so great. I think I've heard something about that, but I did not know the whole component. I heard something was illegal without permission, but I didn't know exactly what. That's super cool. That's super cool. I love
Yeah.
that. So cool. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today, Shaun. I want one thing that's quick note is where can people find you? Because if we want the real voice, where we gotta go?
Absolutely. You can find me on my website at voiceofshaun.com, and that's SHAUN. And you can also find me pretty much on any social media platform with the same handle, Voice of Shaun.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, the voice of Shaun or Shaun, for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. It's so great talking with you and digging into all this stuff. Hey, everybody, I just appreciate all of you listeners joining us today. And if all of this whole AI talk and really like chaos. It's just like you can resonate with it. And if you're looking for, back over here at Chromatic Visuals, what we really do, we really are the ones that help with this chaos and the post-production side of things. And so if you're looking for a post-production partner to help you with that and to offload some of your projects, feel free to jump over to chromaticvisuals.video and click the Start Project button. And we'd love to partner with you and just kind of help be a little bit of solution and answer, just like AI stuff in the and all the chaos that you're going through too. So we appreciate your time and for listening with us. We hope you will catch you next time.